Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Missouri River Bottoms for another 2 hours of fun-filled adventure here on the map, and we're getting straight into our mega silage harvest. We've got a bit of a convoy rolling out from the shop at the moment. This is all the equipment we purchased or organised last time. A lot of it is leased, and we are getting down here into the fields. We've got the John Deeres at the front here. They are going to tackle this first field here, which I think is field number 16, and then we've also got the New Holland team coming in behind that, and they're going to be tackling the other field on the other side. I am under no illusions that we're going to get maybe even halfway through this field. It's probably going to take us a good half hour just to get everything sorted out, set up and running. We've got to sort out an auto drive course to get the trailers into the bunkers, which is one of our first things. We've got to make sure we get everything else up and running, and I've got to do it twice because we've got two different setups that we're going to be doing it with. So that is the plan. We'll be down here very soon. We're actually going to cause probably, I expect a little bit of a blockage, although just thinking now, I've sent this to field 16, and probably if I come up here, field 16 truckload's actually on the other side, so we're not going to cause a blockage, but we are going to have to run all the way down to the other end and take that over. So we will just stop this here. It's going to cause an accident behind us. We'll just quickly go through, stop all of this equipment, and then it will let the New Holland carry on to where it needs to be, and then we can get this one up and running. Alright, we'll get that pulled out of the way. The fent, which is going to be levelling the John Deere out, or the field for the John Deere out, the pit for the John Deere out there, can carry on down that way, and then we'll let those all mosey on, go and do their thing, and they'll go and get set up. The Pro-North is quite slow on the road. It is a long way behind already, so that's that done. Right, first things first, we're just going to get everything all set up here with this. So course, pretty run-of-the-mill. We'll do 3 laps around, maybe 4 laps around the headlands. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get much more than the 4 headlands done today, but we'll wait and see how we go in the couple of hours we have got. So get that up, so that's going to go all up in there, and basically I think if we just try and set a course up, I'll bring one of the tractors over a little bit closer. I wonder if it's going to spray it into the tractor from here. Reach? Oh yeah, there we go. Means we can get into the field at least and get course play set up without having to do it. Right, there we go. We'll stop that there. Turn that off. So we'll get this set up on course play, and that's ready to go. It won't obviously drive until we've got one of the 2 trailers set up. What I'm planning to do is if we can get one trailer kind of just with a little bit in it, then I can go off and drive the course I need to do to get the trailer set up, and we can set the second one starting here and following along. So let's stop talking, let's get course play up and going, and see about getting this first one sorted. So we've got the course all set up. I've gone for a racetrack in the middle, which will be interesting to see how that will work. Hopefully that's going to be a good enough option. So if we just put this on first waypoint, we will hide all of this. We're just going to whack play there. Now it's not going to go anywhere because it needs to be unloaded, and we also need to make sure we're on the right point. So field 16 truckload is our point because that's what we're going to use for our auger wagons or trailers here as they get down and ready to go. So we'll leave that sitting there on its way. Now let's just have a look here, because I'm going to have to set a point for it to drive to unload. But let's just get turned around. We've got a little bit of chaff in this one. Probably use that to record our course, but it doesn't really matter which one it is. I'm just going to run along the side here just a second. Just get a little bit in here. Like I said, it really doesn't need to be that much. Okay, that's probably enough for us to go and record the next part of the course, which is going to be down with the bunkers. And if we're just going to jump out of that tractor, go and make our way into here, we should be able to now. I'm going to set this up on the combine course, and we want to basically be waiting at field 16 truckload. Now I'm just going to put a temporary unload point in here of home, just so it has somewhere to go to once it's full. It won't dump there because it won't detect a dump trigger, but at least it will figure out where it needs to get to, so it's not just sitting here waiting. So let's turn that on. It's going to drive to the combine, and hopefully all going to plan. This one is going to pull up the side, and these guys will start running off. Here we go. Right, it's part 1 done. That's getting the field started. Let's go for a drive down to the bunkers, and we'll go and get set up our dump point and get that all working. So I'm just going to turn on our waypoints here because we've added this extra little road in here on the left, which is access to our bunkers. I just wanted to figure out the best way to do it. Now I think if we come in and we want to kind of try and avoid any conflict. I'm just thinking if we turn in now and head in that way, then we can go and do our unloading and then drive out the other end rather than doing a full loop. So I'm just going to come into here. Anywhere here's good, and we're just going to start recording a course. It's our first waypoint, that's fine. So we're just going to connect those. And this will be the same course used by both of the, well, all of the unloaders. Now, I'm kind of curious. I'm just wondering. We're going to have to back in, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So we're actually going to create a couple, because these are quite big pits, it's not actually going to unload in exactly the right spot every time. So we're just going to come to here. Now, we're just going to, now I've been told, and I think it was Heavy Metal Gaming, you can check out his channel on YouTube. He said if you have those 2 points nice and close, then it will go further towards the end. If you don't have them nice and close, it doesn't get as close. So I'm just going to back up now into our trigger, or into our bunker. Because of the way the spreading works, it's not actually going to tip it out evenly across the width of it. But what I might do is add 2 or 3 tip points, and that will then sort of dump out across it in 3 or 4 locations and might work a little bit better. So we're just going to label this one. This is going to be bunker 1-1. We'll know that's tip point for bunker 1, and it's the first tip point that we've set up. And that done, just going to drive back out forwards, and we'll head out this way. And like I said, we'll complete our little course that goes all the way around. Now it looks like we've got a rather monumental traffic jam going on down here. Just trying to figure out the best way to escape from here. We'll go and escape out this way, and sort out what on earth is going on down here, because this is not ideal. But what we can do first is, if we go to that point, we want to connect up on from here to here. We're just going to hold shift, run our scroll wheel, and create that course like that. And there we go, that's our course all set up. So let's get everything here moved out of the way. The problem was the fence stopped and got in the way, so we'll go and sort that out, and then we'll be able to get the course up and going, and hopefully get these first ones working properly. So now that we've got that set up and everything out of the way, let's just go through here, and we're going to set this up on the same course that we've got the other one on. So Field of Tricks 16 truck load. Then we want to come back into our default waypoints. We've got bunker 1-1, and we're going to set that up, and that should drive back to the field and then look for our combine. It hasn't actually picked up the right course there, which is annoying. Lots going on, but that is that one working. Hopefully it's going to get driven around here and not try and go through the grain unload point. Let's just have a look here. Now it is, it's going to try and drive through where the trucks are. Stop that, so I can't do that. Frustrating little anomaly. But come back down to here, press that up and going, and right now that should get to the correct spot. I'm not quite sure why it tried to go straight on there. Must have been to do with the course I was on. Anyhow, you can see our lime spreader there is working. We've also got the 2 tractors down there doing the tillage as well. So is that all done? Right. Turn that off. Hopefully that's going to get there. Let's go and check how the other one is going. Right, so it's taking a little bit of time to fill up. There seems to be an issue. I think it might be when it turns like that, it gets a little bit close to the head. You can see there it's kind of not working quite as well. So we're just going to increase our pipe offset. Hopefully just get it a little bit further away from the combine. There we go. Hopefully that's going to avoid any issues, because as you can see, it's only gone. How far has it gone? Not very far at all, which isn't ideal. So we would have been full by now, but what it does mean, we can come in here and change this to go and dump at bunker 1-1. Stop that, carry it on. It's going to go and try and unload now. Bother. Right, I had hoped that it might have carried on the course. We'll just carry on. So get this full just by driving along here manually. Hopefully once that we are full in this one, the other tractor won't be too far away. The chopper course is running well though, isn't it? Right, let's get this done, and then hopefully we can leave these ones running and get the next field set up as well. So we're almost full here, 87%. You can see the other tractor has caught up and seems to be running along there behind us. It did try and steal a little bit of chaff there, you can see sitting in the back, but that's okay. Just carry on here. Offsets in that kind of probably need just a little bit of tweaking, because we get into situations like that. I'm only 91% full, but it's tried to swap over. Anyhow, let's make that do. We'll see if we can get this one back where it needs to go. So if we bring up our auto drive, which is there already, and press go. There we go, it's heading off to bunker 1 and should be our first one to go and tip. So let's let that carry on, and we're going to go and try and get the other ones set up and underway. Hopefully by the time we've done that, that'll all be done. Of course, first field always, or headland, getting the headlands opened up is always a tricky part when any job that you're doing with course play. So we've jumped over into the New Holland using exactly the same settings. We're doing the spiral, we've got our headlands and everything like that up and running. So just to exit out of there, that should be all good to go. Now, did I hear a tractor go past? I did. We'll be able to keep an eye on the background to see if that will go and unload, but it's all good. So we've got field 17 truckloads set up in our combine. We're going to go from our first waypoint. Just press play there. It's not going to get very far because that tractor will get out of range, and then it's basically a case of setting this one up. So we use the same course that we've used for the other one, just field 17 truckload, and just for now we're just going to use bunker 1 of 1 dump point. If we press play, it should drive to field 17, it should then go up next to the combine and it should be all good to go. There we go. Right, I'm going to go through and change a couple of settings in here just to increase that distance to the pipe offset, put that up to 1 metre or so. Just to get that tractor a bit further away. We did get a warning there. It looks like our tractor's dumped. I'm just looking at the background. It does look like it's done what it's meant to do. Not sure where it's going quite now, but hopefully it's all worked out. But there we go. That's all running, hopefully, as we'd want it to. Yeah, it's going to catch up. Perfect. Right, let's grab the next tractor and get that one set up as well. So I thought while I had the chance I'd come down and set up another course here for the unloading. Interestingly enough, that has dumped right at the front, so hopefully our course player will be able to pick that up when we get the unloader going. But let's just bring this up, bring up our screen so we can see what we're doing. Now what I want to do first is actually to record just a straight course. It goes from sort of this first waypoint here, so from this one to this one, just going over and connect it up over here. So we should have done that as a secondary course really for the dump, but there we go. And now I was planning as well to do this into separate bunkers, but I think what we might do is actually put it into the same bunker to start off with, because then we can get 4 trailers or 4 tractors going into different dump points. So we come back down over here now, pick ourselves up, hopefully not going to catch anyone on the way. I do wonder if I might have got the tractor too close to the tip point where I drove in. So it's actually gone in and it's detected the dump point, so we might just have to try and tweak that course a touch too. But just come in here, just connect that up, and we'll stay a little bit further away, and we'll just bring this one out. We'll go a little bit onto the grass. One more waypoint in there. Come on, give me a waypoint. There we go. Drag that one further forward. Now I should be able to back that in, and this could be our bunker 1-2. So bunker 1 dump point 2. And like I said, hopefully, we got all sorts of funniness going on there as we went up and over. Oh, that is going to completely ruin our course. We'll tidy that up as best we can in just a second, but let's just go through. We'll give this a bunker 1-2. We'll type that in there. That will be okay. That's the other point. Of course, the labels haven't gone right at the end, so that is my mistake. We're going to have to change that. We'll fix that up as well. There's a few things to fix, including this mess. Right, let's get that sorted out. Alright, well hopefully that's going to be a little bit tidier now. We need our forward course to head out of there. Now if you press right shift when you're creating a course, that will create the reverse course. It's probably going to go haywire on the way out. Not as bad on the way out, so that's okay. Let's drive this out and connect it up. There we go. Now I'm not going to do any more courses at this stage just because I want to make sure this is all going to work. But let's go in. I'm going to fix up these 2 bunker tip points just to try and get it to go further back, and then we'll see what's happening. We're getting lots of warnings popping up with things needing to be unloaded, finished work, grain tanks full, so we'll have to go through and try and rectify that as well. But anyhow, let's set these marks up. So there we go, bunker 1-1, bunker 1-2, tip points all done. Let's trigger this one off to go and catch up. Again, can't see anything around the field, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening anywhere. We're going to have to go and find out what's happening. So the first one here is this John Deere is not having much fun around the side. I'm guessing it's just the proximity, maybe just the water. Really don't know what it is. See, the other one over there is actually stuck in the trees and can't figure out a way out. So this is just that whole chestnut of trying to get a field opened up on courseplay. I'm putting it down to that. Whether that's the correct thing or not, it does seem to me though that once we get around these first pass, we should be good. So we'll jump over to this one. Again, looks like I might have even got stuck on a tree or had all sorts of problems. Got 5% capacity, so we might as well just try and at least get it filled up here. Drive along, get another 5% in, and then we'll try and extract it from its current location and get it moving on its course. So we've made it out, and we can now set this one up on the correct course to bunker 1-2, and that is going to go. Now I just wonder if that's the issue, because I deleted bunker 1-1, whether it's having a little bit of trouble trying to find out where to go. But let's just wait and see. Hopefully this is all going to work, and we'll see what happens with that tip point, whether I've managed to fix it a little bit. Because our next task is going to be to get one of these leveling tractors all set up and running. So let's just have a look here. Hopefully all going to plan. This is going to dump back further into the bunker than that first one did, that's for sure. So far so good, hasn't started tipping, and if that is the case, we're going to have to adjust that bunker 1-1 course as well, so it doesn't go quite so close to the edge of the bunker. Let's just see, is it going to back all the way back in, or is it going to stop right at the front? Alright, getting there towards the edge of the bunker now, and fingers crossed it's going to keep going back. And so far so good. There we go. Perfect. Now the reason it dumped on the way through the first one is because we had put the it was treating it almost like it was a drive-through bunker, and I'm curious, I was wondering whether we could have done that as the methodology, so it dumped there and then the blade pushed it in, but that's just more what we want. So right, now that I know that's working, let's go and just check I've got the right course on the other two, and then we'll come back and get the fence set up, doing some pushing. And there we go, seems to have sorted itself out a little bit. It's been running quite nicely along here, 97-98% full, so fingers crossed it's going to get to the end. We've got it set up tipping a bunker 1-1. There we go, that's 100% now. What's happening with that other one? Is it going to come on over and make an appearance? Because so far it's kind of just sitting there not doing a whole heap. On the contrary, the New Holland was very fast at getting going and getting into the right spot, so let's just wait and see. This one says it's waiting for room, so it might have to just wait for the combine to get out of the way, or the forage harvester. No, it's planning its path now, figuring out how to get out. Right, let's just leave these to do their things, and we'll go and get the fence set up and doing some silage stacking. So we've got the blade here on the back of the fence. This is a first for me, trying to use a rear mounted blade. I haven't done any pushing like this using courseplay, so I'm going to see if this is going to work. Got courseplay silo work set up now. About all we need to do with this is pick a target. So you can see there, if we zoom in, it's already detected the 3 silage bunkers, so we just need to come in here and pick our silo position, which is just there, pick our target position, which is basically where we want our tractor to go to get out of the way of the tippers. So if we just bring that up to maybe there, that would be right. Now direction to the silo, there is our option. We're going to be reversing, waiting for unloader. We might actually get it to wait in the silo, and stop at 99% compaction, may as well do that. So let's just start a job there, and we'll see if this will get up and set up. Do a little bit of a drive around to get to where it needs to be, is it? Figure out what it's going to do. Wasn't too far off where we told it to be. There we go. Is it going to wait for the unloader to maybe get in here and dump? Hopefully we haven't left this in the right position, and we're going to get an example here of why these ones dumped, because I haven't changed that tipping point either. Might be in the way here for this unloader, so maybe we need to change that position so they can get to where they need to go. And there we go, that's the issue. It's going to start dumping while the tractor still moves, so we need to fix that course as well. So we've got the tractor here, and we can use this to look at that auto drive course. It's a bit difficult to see, but what we might just try and do is drag some of these points over. Hopefully we won't break the reversing up too much. There's plenty of space for it to maneuver, so hopefully that is going to keep on working. So if we just kind of gently move all these points over, we might even delete a couple just to make it a little bit easier. Maybe that one to there, get those 2 there deleted. There we go. Right, so there we go, that's that course. Hopefully now far enough away that it's not going to be a problem. There we go, just a touch further. There we go, we got the forage harvester coming right past us as well, so that means the Second of the New Hollands there got caught up, and it looks like the John Deeres are in just about the right spot over there too. So fingers crossed that that's all going to keep on working. So let's just try setting this up again. Our target position needs to be a little bit further away for where it waits, but maybe we will just tell it to wait in the bunker. It can go way over the side here, and that should be out of the way where we're tipping. Looks like we've got that all set up and sorted, so we're just going to wait and see. It should sort of work its way across. It's going to wait now because we've got a trailer coming in to dump. So that's just going to do its thing. It says it's waiting on the unloader. It's just stayed here stationary in the bunker, so hopefully that's going to work out. Once again, as I said, hopefully we've got enough space for that to work. The other tractor's getting there. Looks like we've got a couple of the John Deeres running up there. I'm hoping that once we get that first headland open up on the John Deeres, they're going to run well, because so far the New Hollands are winning the automation battle. But yeah, I think that's us all sorted and set up and running on these. I will try and set up a second or maybe third. Gonna dump there. More work for the Fent to do. That's alright. I was going to set up a second and third dump point that we could just alternate between, or I could have all 4 trailers dumping in different spots across the width of the bunker, and that way we should get it filled up more evenly. But we're just going to let this hopefully get out of its way now, and then this leveler can carry on its work. And there we go, that's driving off, and now this is hopefully going to start compacting a little bit further along, work its way along there. Slowly but surely we're getting things done. That's 40 minutes into the process. I told you it would take a while to get things started, but once we're now at this position, hopefully first headland's done on both fields. I think I can look over there. John Deere's are almost around the first headland, but yeah, once that's all done, I'm hoping things are going to be going better. Now, we're going to leave this for just a second, because you can see our lime has finished spreading on that first field. It has taken some time, but we're going to set that up and move it down onto the next one. So as I said last time, one of the beauties of the way I was doing this is we can potentially set up the next course without even having to drive to the field. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into here, and we're going to move straight onto field 24. So what we need to do is basically jump into our fieldwork settings, keep everything else here the same. That is all correct, but we want to go back to our map actually. Our field position is 24. We're going to put that down there, and we're just going to put our target position down here, and that's about related to where the waypoint there is for the trigger, so hopefully it'll go to and past that without having to go the whole way up and down the other end. Start work at first waypoint. I think that's all pretty much sorted, so just generate a fieldwork course and see what comes up with this. So there we go. It's a pretty big field. It's going to take quite some time and quite some lime, but I think that's all good. So if we jump back out of here, set that to first waypoint, bring up our auto drive, and we're going to change that to that field number. Which field number was that? That was 24. So field 24 truck. So field 13 and 24 truck unload, and we want to change that to lime. We don't want solid fertilizer. And our fern silo. There we go. Press play on that, and hopefully, oops, I didn't press one thing. This is our course play. Tell it once it's done this job, it needs to go and get some turn on course play. So there we go. That's going to exit the field. That's going to figure out where to go and hopefully carry on doing its job. My goodness, we're oh so close to having this first headland done here. I'm wondering if it's the joules. See how much wider the tractor is than the trailer. I wonder if that's what's causing the issues on this. I'm not sure. But hopefully, once we get to here, still going to try and back up. Okay. What I might do, I might go and grab the 8RX, because that's sort of sitting idle and not doing anything, and come and put that in here as well. Maybe swap it out with one of the tractors and see if we can avoid having the problems that we're having at the moment, because it's just becoming a little bit frustrating. I might just change this. We've been playing around with our pipe offset, pump that up a bit further, because the pipe, now that we've got the headlands opened, we could probably be further away from the combine and it doesn't matter too much. Doesn't think it's going to clash and hit into the header, and it might run a little bit smoother, but not at the moment. So I'm just watching along here as this is happening. Cue the John Deere jokes, because this is becoming a little bit ridiculous. Each time it does this, it says it's waiting for the combine to turn, and what I'm wondering is whether it's the little uneven turns that the combine's having to do along the course. So if we just jump into the combine, calling it a combine because it is a forage harvester, but if we just have a look in here, bring up our course, it's relatively straight. I was thinking it might be where we have little junctions like that that's causing it, but there's been no turns in the last little bit. This is a straight edge. So I'm a little bit stumped why we're having problems here. We didn't have any problems in the other field, but it's just with the New Hollands. It's just, yeah, it's just perpetually wanting to do that. So I might go and, yeah, like I said, grab the 8RX and bring that over, see if that solves our issues. So let's have a look and see what happens here. We've grabbed the 8RX. We are just going to go in here and change our pipe offset on this one as well, bump that up a whole lot further. See if that's going to be any better, because so far it doesn't seem like it is. So I'm wondering now if it's actually an issue with the forage harvester, that John Deere forage harvester versus the New Holland one. Maybe the long pipe. Just see. Yeah, it gets close and then it just wants to go in a different direction. What else we can tweak with this? Bump up the distance to the combine. Max out our pipe distance, make it 3 meters. Let's have a look. Right, still no different. Interesting. Well, next job is going to be to swap out that forage harvester, maybe go and grab a different version and see if that works any better. Well, in the interest of actually progressing this work we're doing, I've taken over here just to get this one out of the way. I'm doing one thing, which is to bring the New Holland, one of the New Holland tractors over here and see if that'll help. But look at how that combine, maybe it's the combine. They're just stopping and starting. Forage harvester, keep on calling it a combine because I get warnings of full grain tanks and combines. I'm starting to think it is the forage harvester, not the tractors, so let's get another forage harvester down here ASAP, and we'll see if that will fix it. But I do want to try the New Holland tractors out on this. It'll turn into a little bit of a troubleshooting exercise more than anything else. Look at that, I can't, that's forage harvester, that's not me. 100% forage harvester, and that would be triggering each time that forage harvester gets full and stops. That would trigger the issue with the unloading. Right, let's get another forage harvester down here. I think that's what's the problem. Let's see what happens here. We've gone and swapped out the John Deere for the Class Unstoppable Combine. I'm hoping it is unstoppable, but so far we're not getting that jumpy stop starting we were getting not that long ago, so I'm starting to think it's actually the John Deere Combine. One thing that will test it is we've actually got, and you can see it over there in the distance, one of the John Deere tractors running with the New Holland Combine, and it seems to be going quite well. But the New Holland tractor ready to go here with the John Deere as well, with the Class forage harvester. So it seems like to me, if you're running course play and wanting to do some forage harvesting, don't use the John Deere. Not sure why, not sure what reason, but it seemed to cause more problems than it was worth. So it could be the solution to our problems. I won't jinx it just yet, we won't be a final judge, but so far so good. Now, I'm going to just get this filled up. We might even leave the... No, I'm going to swap the tractor back over. We're going to swap back over onto the other 7R and let that do the work. That's what we got it for. And if we have to mix the tractors up, have a New Holland and John Deere in each field, then so be it. That's what works best for us and for getting things done. So, we'll give it a few more minutes, see if we can get everything working properly, and then might be time for some time-lapsing, montaging, and taking a big, deep breath. So it doesn't look like it's the tractors, right? You jump over here, and this is just running like clockwork. No dramas, not issues, or anything like that. I do see we've got a little bit of a hold-up, but I think it's just because we're going around the corner over there. That's all that's happening with that one. It's just trying to figure out its way around the corner. I'm hoping that's what it is that it's doing over there. Yeah, it seems to be manoeuvring and turning back to the right and getting around the corner. So, again, reiterate, once you get the headlands open, everything always goes smoother on course play courses. So, persevere through that, and there has been a lot of perseverance, and you'll be just fine. So, now that we've got things loosely up and running, and we're just going to have to persevere through getting around this corner as well, we'll go over and have a look and see how the leveling's going, and whether we can set something else up over there too. Well, looks like we've got here just as one of the tractors comes back. This tractor we've swapped out with the 8RX, but you can see the job that the leveler has done about pushing all of that silage that was at the front of the bunker, pushing that up out of the way. Now I did change it so that it parked over here out of the way rather than where it was. It did stop a couple of times and get in the way, so I'm actually parking it somewhere where I know it is completely out of the way of any of the trailers has been a good thing. But yeah, there we go. Let's go and actually have a look, see how much chaff we have managed to get done in this hour that we've been going for so far, because we are at 1 hour and 5 minutes. So bring up our menu, just have a look. 262,000 litres. Not a huge number, is it? Not a huge number. I'd like to see it bigger, but it'll grow. It will grow. This will take us up over 300,000. So 500,000 an hour, that would be my dream. So if we can finish with 800,000 litres in here, now that we've got everything set up and hopefully running quite smoothly, I would be a happy chappy. But let's get that just in there. You can see how that changed to the course I made. It's made it harder for them to back in here, but they are getting backed in and into a spot which works and getting unloaded. You guys see the fill level is going up. Compaction level about 50. It is going to keep on dropping down. Have to drive forward a little bit to get the last of that out. See if they can figure that out or not. Here we go. One more little move. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. A little bit at a time. There we go. That's empty. There we go. 300,000 and 460 litres. Beautiful. Right. Let's shoot for 800. 500,000 litres in the next 53 minutes. Let's see if we can do it. Well, we did it. We got the headlands all opened up, and the forage harvesters have started on their up and down rows. Now, I did set this up running it on the racetrack settings. I only did 2 laps. I think I should have made it a little bit more. But the whole idea is that the forage harvester sort of goes down, then it's going to spiral on each of these, so it should come back just about on itself, kind of down that row, which means that the loading wagons are always on the outside and sort of don't get in the way when you get to turn at the other end, because they always want to stay on the outside. So that was the plan. Yeah, I think I just needed to have a few more on there, but it's going to work. It's working out all right. Definitely since we've changed out that forage harvester from the class for the John Deere, or which way around would you say? Changed out the John Deere for the class? Yeah, changed out the John Deere and got the class. That one over there has definitely been running a whole lot smoother as well. But the big question is, how much chaff have we got in the bunker? We were aiming for 800,000 litres, which would have given us 500,000 across the last hour or so, 55 minutes. So we'll go down and just take a quick look, but before we do that, let's have a look at the map and see how we are progressing. So you can see those headland passes that have come off. Obviously this field 17 on the left is a lot smaller, so we're going to get through that one a lot quicker, but there is still a long way to go here. The beauty is once this one's finished, we could actually bring the forage harvester and copy the course, and it could start on the other side. Again, using that spiral setting that we've got it on would work quite well. I might even consider next time, seeing we've only just done this a little bit, actually redoing the course and making the racetrack just a little bit bigger, just to try and make it a little bit more efficient. But it's going to work. It's going to work really well. Things are trucking. So we're just coming along here. Let's go over and take a look. I've tried to get the lime spreader working, but it just looks like a big water fountain, and as you can see, it has not got very far in that next field. So we're going to have to come up with a bit of a solution for that. I think a buy station, but also getting rid of that horrible bug with the lime spreader. But yeah, we might try and put down a multi-purchase buy station or something next time. But let's go jump over and see how much chaff we have got. We've still got 3 minutes, so I don't know, how close is this one? This one's 83, so we might be able to get this one in before we hit our 2 hours. This one's at 44%, so we're certainly not going to get that one done, but we might have enough to get that all finished off. That looks pretty cool, looking across there and seeing those both working, doesn't it? And I must admit, I've been pretty impressed with how this has been going for levelling things. It sorted out that issue we had right there at the start and got all this taken up and out. Actually looks like I've got a little bit of an uneven terrain in there. Might have to level that out. That could be a terrain issue rather than anything else. But we'll just come up in here. I was still in flight mode, so I wondered why it was all jerky. That was because we were in flight mode. You can see we're starting to get it pushed up here and up in the back. Moment of truth though, bring up our menu. 710,000 litres, we'll call it, compacted 38%. So I'll tell you what, 2 more trailers with 47,000 litres, I think they are each in here, and we would have done it. We're not quite going to though. We are going to get that extra one over here, but we're not quite going to get there. But close, very, very close. So 500,000 litres an hour is certainly achievable. We were doing it with 55 minutes left, so yeah, definitely is something we could do. But there we go. That is us done. Another 2 hours spent here on Missouri River bottoms, and we've broken the back on the forage harvest. I think now we've got it all started. I reckon we'll give it a good whack next time and get a whole lot more done. And I'm going to spend a bit of time figuring out a better solution for the lime spreader, and we'll come back and I don't know, maybe we'll get another spreader, because they're taking a long time to get through. Getting anywhere really with this lime. I know the issue, I know what's going on down there, so let's see if we can solve it and come up with a better solution. But there we go. Hope you found this one enjoyable. It started out as a massive fail. I think it's going to finish off as a massive silage harvest, and yeah, it's going to be a bit of fun carrying on as the fent there starts to struggle with the weight and the angle on things, but they'll sort themselves out. But yeah, there we go. As always, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.